Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, welcome back to our journey into the profoundest enigmas of the cosmos, where the boundaries between science and philosophy grow ever more tenuous. In the vast stillness of the cosmic night, questions have haunted humanity since our earliest ancestors first gazed upwards at the star-strewn sky. Now, I comprehend a daring hypothesis suggesting that upon death in our three-dimensional realm, one might transition to a higher spatial dimension and persist in existence. This is not the fanciful rhetoric of a science fiction novelist weaving an intricate plot, but a serious scientific perspective embedded within the austere equations of quantum physics. However, I must caution you emphatically, do not attempt to test this, for those peculiar quantum laws apply solely to the microscopic domain of subatomic particles and hold no sway in the macroscopic reality we inhabit and breathe daily.
It is this stark contradiction that has confronted modern physics with an immense conundrum over the past century, a profound fissure cleaving our comprehension of reality. On one hand, quantum laws adeptly account for the chaotic, probabilistic behavior of microscopic particles. On the other, those same laws collapse utterly when extended to the macroscopic world of stars and galaxies. This impasse renders Einstein's masterpiece, the general theory of relativity, which elucidates the macroscopic cosmos, and quantum mechanics, the sovereign of the microscopic, mutually exclusive, akin to water and fire. To reconcile these domains and forge a unified theory of everything, scientists have posited a seemingly outlandish hypothesis. Our universe may encompass up to 10 spatial dimensions. You may already grasp the fourth dimension as that of time, where past, present, and future flow like a river, but assuredly you have never beheld a 10-dimensional space. What then does the 10th dimension resemble, and why, despite our advanced technology, can we not perceive it? In what follows, let us set aside the preconceptions of our ordinary senses to delve into the secrets of the 10th spatial dimension. To truly comprehend 10 dimensions, I must elucidate each one sequentially, as rungs on a ladder ascending to the throne of creation. Only thus can you grasp the essence of reality structure. Therefore, without further ado, we shall bypass the familiar dimensions from 1 to 4 and advance directly to the 5th dimension, one wholly alien to your intuition. If we could perceive the 5th dimension, we would behold an entirely novel parallel world, distinct from our own. This world resides not in some distant galaxy, but at the identical spatial location as our universe, overlapping like pages in a book, sharing a common origin from the Big Bang. We would observe both worlds simultaneously, comparing and measuring their attributes, witnessing divergent forks in history. Advancing to the 6th dimension amplifies the wonder exponentially. There, we could survey all conceivable universes alongside every variation of their pasts, presents, and futures. Envision time not as a linear path, but as an expansive plane, where you might stroll through events as one wanders a garden. Any among us could traverse space and time effortlessly, selecting the most appealing future to enter, rectifying regrets from the past. Yet this is not the limit. Upon entering the 7th dimension, the universe unveils entirely novel physical laws governing gravity and light, constants we deem immutable. It is crucial to note that in all preceding dimensions, every parallel world shares an origin with our universe, but commencing from the 7th, the origins of these new dimensions diverge completely. We speak of universes born from distinct Big Bangs with radically different initial conditions. The 8th dimension permits us to perceive every possibility of past, present, and future across all conceivable universes, an infinite lattice of realities. In the 9th dimension, we can compare the histories of all possible universes. These universes stem from every imaginable ensemble of physical laws and initial conditions, where light might travel more slowly or gravity functions as a repulsive force. And ultimately, the 10th dimension encompasses absolutely everything. Here, the universal physical laws of all universes, alongside infinite possibilities of spatial and temporal motion, are laid bare before humanity. It is the terminus of imagination, where even the most outlandish possibilities manifest. Moreover, there may exist an 11th dimension, akin to the 10th. Any higher dimension would ultimately converge upon the 10th or 11th, forging a complete and self-contained structure. This naturally prompts a legitimate query, a necessary scientific skepticism. If the universe harbors such multitude of dimensions, why can we not discern them? Imagine yourself as a squirrel dwelling upon an infinitely long trunk. In this scenario, you possess 2 dimensions of motion, traversing along the trunk and circling around it. But suppose you venture to leap onto a neighboring, slenderer trunk. Thereafter, the capacity to circle this narrower trunk becomes profoundly restricted to the extent that you wholly fail to perceive it. At that juncture, you can only move longitudinally along the trunk. The supplementary dimensions operate analogously. Each time you move your hand, you are in fact traversing all 6 additional dimensions, yet they remain invisible because these dimensions are compacted. In other words, their scale is coiled at a subatomic level, concealed deep within the universe's foundational fabric. To comprehend how dimensions might fold, consider a 2-dimensional shape as an exemplar, such as a torus in geometry. This form is defined by 2 circular directions, one encircling the central hole and another threading through it. If this donut-like shape were continually diminished, it would eventually appear as a dimensionless point to the naked eye. When the scale of supplementary dimensions contracts to a point, their size becomes so minuscule that no instrument can observe such a microscopic gauge. These 6 imperceptible dimensions collectively form a complex geometrical space termed a Calabi-Yau manifold. Unlike a simple torus, 6-dimensional Calabi-Yau manifolds may possess up to 500 holes, intertwined with innumerable multidimensional loops. Electromagnetic flux can traverse these holes, and each hole may exist in 10 distinct states. Drawing upon these figures, the American physicist Joseph Polchinski calculated that the number of feasible Calabi-Yau manifolds approximates 10 to the power of 500, a figure exceeding the total atoms in the observable universe. Recent advancements as of 2026 have further illuminated these manifolds. For instance, researchers have applied covariant closed string field theory, a subtype of string theory developed in the 1980s, to model natural networks like neuronal wiring in the brain, demonstrating that Calabi-Yau geometries underpin not only cosmic structures, but potentially biological ones as well. Within Calabi-Yau manifolds, the size of each loop is termed a brane or membrane. These branes are fields existing within 4-dimensional spacetime, corresponding to the Calabi-Yau manifold's dimensions. Simultaneously, they function as scalar fields. Each scalar field can define values akin to temperature or atmospheric pressure. For example, when we consult tomorrow's weather forecast, we are essentially receiving signals from all hidden spatial dimensions influencing our reality. Nevertheless, another means to observe each dimension's manifestation in the universe lies through string theory. Orthodox string theory posits that strings constitute the universe's fundamental essence. According to string theory, our entire universe comprises minuscule vibrating energy strings. These strings are so diminutive that no current apparatus can detect them. The mode of their vibration determines the observed particle type. When a string vibrates in one manner, we observe a photon, the light particle. In another mode, we detect an electron. Thus, for every fundamental particle, each represents a manifestation of a corresponding dimension. By this logic, you yourself are fundamentally a 10-dimensional entity, composed of nearly all known fundamental particles. The presence of supplementary dimensions also aids scientists in explicating numerous enigmatic phenomena, such as gravity's relative weakness. Among fundamental forces, gravity is the most readily overcome. You surmount gravity daily merely by lifting a foot while walking, or using a small magnet to attract a paperclip, defying Earth's entire gravitational pull. The electromagnetic force's intensity surpasses gravity by approximately 10 to the power of 36. This colossal disparity ought not to exist, yet string theory proffers an explanation. Diverse forces arise from distinct string types. Gravity derives from closed strings. Closed strings are unbound to our universe's brane and may venture into other dimensions, dispersing gravitational energy across hidden spatial dimensions. Conversely,
Other physical forces, like electromagnetism or nuclear forces, stem from open strings, whose ends adhere firmly to our universe's brain, confining their energy to observable dimensions.
Nonetheless, string theory's calculations retain discrepancies and imperfections. Consequently, scientists have proposed superstring theory, wherein the universe's dimensions may extend to 26. Superstring theory indicates that beyond strings, the universe comprises branes, multidimensional extended entities. Their shapes and scales are even smaller than their spatial positions. According to physicist Subir Banerjee's perspective, our universe is one such brane, resembling an incessantly expanding bubble adrift in a vaster space, termed the bulk, containing other spatial dimensions. The endpoints of strings from supplementary dimensions protrude into our universe, and through these string endpoints we observe all extant matter. To verify this seemingly preposterous doctrine, humanity has initiated one of history's costliest scientific endeavors, the Large Hadron Collider, constructed at approximately $10 billion United States dollars.
This colossal apparatus, buried beneath the Franco-Swiss border, addresses gravity's exceedingly faint signal in fundamental particle collisions. Higher collision energies heighten the likelihood that gravitons, particles conveying gravity, detach from our brane and enter another spatial dimension. However, gravitons prove extraordinarily elusive, and to date, no device has observed them directly. Yet this does not render the vast investment fruitless. Thanks to the Large Hadron Collider, scientists successfully identified the Higgs boson, dubbed the God particle, which may unveil numerous unresolved cosmic enigmas. As of 2026, the collider has achieved record-breaking collisions, including the first-ever oxygen and neon-ion impacts, and is preparing for a major upgrade to the High-Luminosity Large Hadron Collider, set to commence operations post-2026, promising tenfold more data and potentially deeper insights into extra dimensions. Nevertheless, the grand scientific debate concerning spatial dimensions and the universe's true nature remains unresolved. In the future, bolstered by more advanced particle accelerators, these queries may find answers. Perhaps strings' existence will be confirmed, furnishing explanations for nearly all cosmic phenomena. Alternatively, those enigmas may only proliferate, perpetually extending the horizon of our knowledge. What do you think? Do strings truly exist, or is it all a colossal mathematical illusion? Would you desire the capacity to perceive all 10 spatial dimensions fully? Ponder these thoughts within your mind, for our journey does not conclude here. If the universe's structure resembles a 10-story tower, who possesses the prowess to ascend its pinnacle? What terrors might a level 7 cosmic civilization embody, and to what extent can humanity evolve? As early as 1964, the Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev proposed a schema classifying civilizations into 3 levels based on their energy harnessing and utilization capabilities. Subsequently, modern scientists expanded this model to 7 levels, crafting the most ambitious gauge of intellectual evolution. Let us commence from the faltering initial steps. A Level 1 civilization, termed a planetary civilization, commands absolute dominion over all resources and energy on its homeworld. It can manipulate weather freely, averting storms, master land, oceans, and natural phenomena, even influence geological shifts in the planetary crust to preclude earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Concurrently, it can readily escape the planet's gravitational grasp, venturing into space to explore its stellar system and conduct interplanetary communications. Evidently, with current technological prowess, humanity lags far behind this level. We remain dependent on fossil fuels and impotent against natural disasters. Scientists estimate that human civilization presently hovers around level 0.7, and attaining level 1 would necessitate at least several millennia, presuming we do not self-destruct beforehand. Ascending one rung yields a level 2 civilization, or stellar civilization. It can construct and control colossal structures like Dyson spheres enveloping its host star, capturing and utilizing the entirety of the immense energy liberated through continuous nuclear fusion. It might fabricate spacecraft employing warp drives, bending reality to explore interstellar realms at superluminal velocities. Moreover, to conceal and safeguard itself better from cosmic threats, it would modulate the Dyson sphere to obscure the parent star, rendering it undetectable in visible light to predatory entities lurking in the shadows. A level 3 civilization is denominated a galactic civilization. Such entities can arbitrarily harness the total energy within their galaxy, hundreds of billions of stars at their fingertips. They forge wormholes for interstellar voyages and undertake cosmic traversals at whim. They not only comprehend and master black holes, transmuting them into inexhaustible energy sources and manipulating multidimensional space, but also liaise with other galactic civilizations, joining expansive galactic alliances. They might even manipulate planetary orbits, rearranging stellar systems like chess pieces, and fabricating entirely novel stellar configurations. All this transcends humanity's current comprehension, akin to an ant failing to grasp the internet's mechanics. Though a level 3 civilization's existence already defies human imagination, before a level 4 civilization, it appears diminutive as an ant. A level 4 civilization, dubbed a supergalactic civilization or architect of reality, has evolved beyond ordinary intelligent beings' grasp. Unfettered by stars, galaxies, or even conventional spacetime, it operates on a universal scale, not for survival, but for reality's fabrication. It can bend, restructure, or reprogram spacetime as we program computers. It exploits vacuum energy, and dark matter, even reversing universal entropy to forestall heat death. It can ignite child universes, reset or refurbish aging ones. Its existence form transcends biological bodies. Consciousness manifests as universal scale collectives or pure energetic mathematical entities. The notion of individuality may cease for them. They communicate not via language or signals, but by altering physical constants. And a single thought spans billions of years, yet feels instantaneous. If level 4 civilizations are architects, level 5 are termed multidimensional civilizations. They endure in multidimensional spaces and arbitrarily create or eradicate any galaxy or child universe. These civilizations resemble guardians of the multiverse, upholding order and equilibrium across all multidimensional space. Perhaps the gods humanity venerates in ancient religions are distorted reflections in our perception of such level 5 civilizations. Higher still lies the level 6 civilization, known as a cosmic or super-reality civilization. Independent of universes, multiverses, or spacetime, unbound by classical physics, logic, or causality, it exists in a super-reality stratum where it does not inhabit reality but defines it. It can rewrite existence laws, altering mathematical logic, for instance, rendering 1 + 1 unequal to 2 at will. It creates not matter, but concepts, rules, and possibilities. It subsists beyond all metrics, no energy, no entropy, no birth or extinction. It resembles a self-aware mathematical axiom. Communion with it is nigh impossible, for it employs not signals, but the permission of law's existence.
Perhaps a level 6 civilization does nothing. Its non-intervention is the precondition for everything's existence, like silence underpinning music. And finally, the scale's apex, where human language and cognition utterly falter, the level 7 civilization. This entity transcends existence, unbound by concepts of being or non-being. If level 6 architects laws, crafting reality, level 7 surpasses laws, reality, and possibility. A level 7 civilization neither exists nor does not exist. Unfettered by logic, mathematics, causality, or meaning, it is nothing, yet everything arises because it is nothing. It neither creates, destroys, intervenes, nor observes. Its presence is absolute absence. All realities emerge, operate, and collapse unmanaged. It possesses no form, no matter, no energy, no information, no consciousness. The nearest depiction is the void preceding the void's concept, the silence antedating sound.
Communion is impossible not because it refuses, but because nothing exists to commune. An extreme hypothesis posits that humans, the universe, deities, multiverses, and all civilizations are indirect consequences of level 7 doing nothing. In philosophy, this approximates the Tao, or emptiness.
A level 7 civilization represents the cosmos's sovereign, the lord of nothingness, bearing no ordinary life form. This entity is the creator of all universes and the founder of existence laws through its very absence. If level 6 poses the universe's ultimate query, level 7 is why no query is needed. Naturally, all the foregoing comprises theoretical conjectures within the Kardashev Scale's framework and theoretical physics. In the actual universe, whether other intelligent civilizations exist or humanity stands as the sole isolated one amid the stellar expanse remains unanswered.
Perhaps only when humanity truly departs our galaxy, shedding ignorance's cocoon, will these mysteries unveil fully. And you, observing from behind the screen in this fleeting life moment, do you believe in higher civilization's existence? Or perhaps, in some distant future, we ourselves shall become the gods we seek? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, for devoting time to accompany me in exploring reality's deepest strata. Farewell, and I look forward to our next intellectual voyages. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, having traversed together the vertiginous rungs of imagination, from harnessing a diminutive planet's energy to manipulating reality's fabric, it is now time to return to the cold, unyielding ground and confront the starkest truth. We have discussed civilizations capable of extinguishing stars like snuffing candles, or entities existing as physical laws. Yet, when we train telescopes beyond our earthly vessel's porthole, all we encounter is silence.
A silence spanning billions of light years. This is humanity's greatest paradox. Not how to attain level 2 or 3, but why, amid a vast universe teeming with billions of stars and planets, seemingly no one answers our call. This silence is not mere absence of radio signals. It bears a philosophical weight, crushing any daring to peer into the nocturnal abyss. If higher-level civilizations truly exist as our theories analyze, their imprints should pervade everywhere. A level 3 civilization would transmute an entire galaxy, emitting colossal waste heat that our infrared telescopes could not overlook. A level 4 or 5 would scar space-time structure or create anomalous voids in the observable universe. Yet we discern nothing. The universe persists in blind mechanisms of gravity and nuclear fusion, devoid of purposeful intervention signs. This leads to two equally terrifying possibilities. The first, we are truly alone.
Imagine intelligent life as an exceedingly rare accident, a statistical aberration unrepeatable in matter's history, that the sequence from a self-replicating single cell evolving to multicellular organisms and ultimately a brain querying its origins is so improbable it occurred precisely once across all space and time. If true, humanity's responsibility is overwhelmingly immense. We are not mere denizens of a small planet, but consciousness's sole torch in an insensate, tenebrous universe. Should we self-annihilate through nuclear war, climate change, or uncontrolled artificial intelligence, the universe reverts to eternal silence. No observer, no comprehender, no extoller of its beauty. The universe's existence then becomes meaningless, absent consciousness to acknowledge it. The second possibility is more harrowing. Other civilizations exist, but have been extinguished by some merciless law we have yet to discover. This is the great filter concept.
Perhaps intelligence and technology's development invariably sows self-destruction seeds. Maybe every civilization attaining atomic energy harnessing inevitably employs it for mutual annihilation. Or perhaps, upon achieving flawless reality simulation, intelligent beings opt for virtual worlds of bliss, abandoning the real to wither. If the great filter lies ahead, humanity's future is not the stars, but a collective grave. Preceding civilizations' ruins may drift in frigid voids, silent warnings we lack capacity to decipher. The universe's silence, then, is not emptiness, but hunter's caution or failure's tomb. However, let us regard the issue from a deeper, less pessimistic angle. Perhaps our comprehension of civilization and life remains too rudimentary and constrained.
We seek radio signals, metallic structures, nuclear heat sources, because those are what we know and employ.
Yet, imposing a civilization's logic barely escaped from the Stone Age millennia ago upon entities extant for millions or billions of years is naive arrogance. Recall ants constructing nests beside a motorway. They cannot fathom passing automobiles' significance, not from unwillingness, but because their nervous systems and senses are not designed for such concepts. Similarly, higher-level civilizations may operate before our eyes in forms current human physics deems natural phenomena. Perhaps dark matter and dark energy, comprising 95% of the universe's composition, whose nature eludes us, are their infrastructure or very selves. Maybe the universe's expansion is not a Big Bang aftermath, but a grand-scale engineering project underway. When perceptual disparity grows vast, technology becomes indistinguishable from magic and artificial life from nature. We may dwell in a glass cage, observed by entities we revere as physical laws. This returns us to existence's meaning.
In a universe governed by thermodynamics' second law, where all trends from order to chaos, from useful energy to useless heat, life is a fascinating paradox. Life alone reverses entropy's local flow, extracting order from chaos to sustain structure. From this viewpoint, every civilization's ultimate purpose, regardless of Kardashev level, is battling thermodynamic collapse. We erect cities, author books, encode information in genes and silicon, all desperate endeavors to preserve information against time's erosion. If the universe ultimately perishes in absolute cold, every star extinguished and black hole evaporated, are all efforts from level 1 to 7 futile? Here, philosophy must intercede science. If time is infinite, the present moment is eternal. Our existence here, now, contemplating the universe, is how the universe self-perceives. We are the eyes through which the universe beholds its beauty, the ears through which it hears galaxies' melodies.
Perhaps we need not seek gods afar. In evolving from insensate stellar dust to beings capable of abstract thought and compassion, we have undertaken the most miraculous journey. We are matter that knows suffering, love, and hope. If no other civilization exists out there, our mission grows more sacred. We are life's guardians, sowers of the universe's future. Each scientific advance, every artwork created, each interpersonal kindness is a brick in the higher civilization we envision. We must not despair before the nocturnal sky's silence, but draw motivation to proclaim louder, clearer, affirming our presence against the void. The path ahead is long, fraught with ignorance's pitfalls and greed's snares, yet humanity's potential is boundless. From taming fire in caves to imprinting footprints on the moon, we have proven no limit insurmountable. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when next you gaze upon the star-filled nocturnal sky, feel not diminutive or solitary.
Behold those stars as destinations awaiting us. View the dark antitheses not as barriers, but as blank canvases anticipating humanity's masterpieces. We are the universe's children, toddling first steps from Earth's cradle. We may stumble, may stray, but exploration's and understanding's thirst shall ever be our guiding beacon. The tale of cosmic civilizations is not of alien strangers, but of our future, of what we might become if sufficiently courageous, wise, and united to surmount present trials. Cherish life, cherish this fragile blue planet, and cease not questioning. For as long as we question, we endure and evolve. And who knows, in some remote future, when our descendants reflect upon this era, they may realize that the omnipotent gods their ancestors sought vainly were ever present in humanity's infinite potential. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, for investing your precious time in this odyssey of thought across space and time.
I hope today's reflections plant seeds of curiosity and faith in humanity's future. Farewell, and I anticipate reuniting for forthcoming explorations of knowledge.